Top 10 Mysterious Scam in Human History that you will not believe. Today's episode promises to be a fascinating one, so make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss a single twist as we reveal how far people are willing to go to achieve power, wealth, and fame, and how others get caught in the crossfire. Let's dive in. Number 10. Tsuyoshi Kikukawa and the Olympus Scandal. 2012 summary. Kikukawa was involved in a decades-long scheme that used Tabashi accounting to hide massive losses. These losses, shuffled between client accounts, eventually led to the downfall of Olympus's stock valuation and revealed the firm's potential links to organized crime. Significance: the Olympus Scandal highlights how corporate fraud can be deeply embedded in a company's structure and culture, hidden from public view for years. This case underscores the value of whistleblowers and the dangers of unchecked corporate loyalty to dishonest leaders. It also sparked discussions about the need for whistleblower protections in Japan and around the world. Number 9. Bernard Madoff and the largest Ponzi scheme in history. 2008 summary. Madoff's Ponzi scheme was the largest in history, affecting nearly 5,000 clients. Unlike Ponzi's high return promises, Madoff offered modest yet steady returns, making his scheme seem more legitimate. However, when the 2008 financial crisis hit, Madoff couldn't sustain the illusion and was exposed. Significance: Madoff's scheme shattered trust in the financial industry, particularly among high-net-worth clients who assumed they were secure. The lesson here is that trust alone isn't a sufficient safeguard. Investors must verify even reputable sources and be cautious of investments with too consistent returns, as they could be concealing deeper fraud. Number 8. Joseph Nakio and insider trading at Curst. 2007 summary. Nakio, the CEO of Curst, misled investors by claiming the company would meet high revenue targets, which inflated stock prices. Knowing the company was actually struggling, he sold his own shares for a personal profit of $50 million before the collapse. Significance: Nakio's case highlights the danger of insider trading, which can devastate unsuspecting investors. It also emphasizes the ethical responsibilities of corporate leaders and the consequences of prioritizing personal gain over shareholder trust. Number 7. Kutsu Nami and the Enten currency scam. 2007 summary. Nami's scam involved a fictional currency called Enten, where he promised annual returns of 36%. His scheme impacted over 37,000 people, many of whom were ordinary citizens. When the dividends came in Enten rather than cash, and the company declared bankruptcy, it became clear they had been duped. Significance: Nami's scam demonstrates the risks of get-rich-quick schemes, especially when targeting everyday people rather than corporations. The lesson here is to be cautious of unconventional investments, especially those promising unrealistically high returns in unfamiliar formats, like digital or alternative currencies. Number 6. Worldcom and financial manipulation. 2002 summary. Worldcom followed in Enron's footsteps with similar accounting tricks, classifying operating expenses as investments to hide losses. When the fraud was revealed, the company's stock plummeted, causing massive job losses and a corporate collapse. Significance: Worldcom's collapse was a wake-up call for investors and companies alike, showing how even major corporations can be brought down by fraudulent financial practices. It reinforced the need for vigilance in the corporate world and reminded investors to examine financial reports critically rather than blindly trusting corporate statements. Number 5. Enron Scandal and the collapse of a corporate giant. 2001 summary. Enron's executives used creative accounting to hide billions in debt, making the company appear financially healthy when it was actually crumbling. This elaborate system of shell companies ultimately unraveled, destroying Enron and its associated accounting firm, Arthur Andersen, and leading to a global scandal. Significance: Enron symbolizes corporate greed and the consequences of unchecked ambition. It teaches the importance of transparency and regulation in business. Enron's collapse also led to legislative reforms like the Sarbanes-Oxley Act, which aimed to prevent similar corporate fraud by increasing transparency and accountability in corporate finances. Number 4. Donald Crowhurst and the Sailing Scandal. 1968 summary. Crowhurst entered a sailing race despite an unreliable boat. As he struggled in the Atlantic, he began falsifying reports about his position to make it appear as though he was succeeding. Back home, people celebrated his apparent progress, but ultimately his deception was revealed after his boat was found without him. Significance: Crowhurst's story is tragic, as it reflects the pressure to succeed that can lead people into deception, even self-deception. The case suggests that people sometimes construct a false reality under pressure, with devastating results. This is an example of how fraud isn't always about direct financial gain, but can arise from desperation and fear of failure. Number 3. Oscar Hartzel and the Sir Francis Drake estate fraud in 1919 to 1934. Summary: Hartzel preyed on people with the last name Drake, convincing them they were heirs to Sir Francis Drake's estate. He even asked for investments to fund a lawsuit against the British government, promising returns of 501. Hartzel used these funds to live luxuriously in London, continuing the fraud for 15 years. Significance: this case shows the power of an elaborate backstory to lure victims. By appealing to family heritage and potential wealth, Hartzel convinced people that they could gain something unique. His success underscores how scams thrive on emotional appeal, specifically the lure of belonging to a family legacy or reclaiming rightful wealth. Number 2. Charles Ponzi and the Ponzi Scheme in 1920. Summary: Charles Ponzi's scheme is foundational to understanding financial fraud. He promised high returns with little risk, using funds from new investors to pay returns to earlier ones. This model was unsustainable, and when he ran out of new investors, the scheme collapsed, leaving many financially ruined. Significance: Ponzi's scheme is infamous because it's been repeated in many forms over the years, showing how timelessly effective it can be. The lesson here is skepticism. If an investment opportunity seems too good to be true, it often is. Understanding the mechanics of Ponzi schemes helps people recognize and avoid similar setups. Number 1. Frederick Cook and the North Pole Controversy 1908. The Frederick Cook and Robert Peary North Pole controversy is a unique example of how intense personal ambition can blur the lines of truth and deception. This case wasn't about money or financial gain. Instead, it was fueled by pride, prestige, and the desire to achieve historical recognition. During an era when exploration and adventure captivated the world, the title of first to reach the North Pole held immense allure and was seen as the ultimate symbol of endurance and human spirit. Frederick Cook, an American explorer, claimed in 1908 that he had reached the North Pole first, a year before Robert Peary. Cook's assertion, however, faced intense skepticism, largely due to the lack of irrefutable evidence. After reaching civilization, Cook stored his journals and instruments, the essential proof of his journey, in a remote location at Enoetok. He was confident that these records would validate his claim. However, his rival Robert Peary also claimed to have reached the North Pole, igniting a heated rivalry. Peary contested Cook's claim aggressively, demanding proof. Unfortunately for Cook, when he attempted to retrieve his journals and instruments, he discovered they had mysteriously disappeared. Without these records, his claim was weakened, and public support largely shifted toward Peary. Peary's evidence, though not flawless, appeared more credible at the time. He had organized an impressive expedition team and carried what many considered sufficient documentation of his journey. As a result, Peary's account was widely accepted, while Cook's claim was dismissed. The controversy cast a shadow over Cook's career, and he faced harsh criticism and accusations of being a fraud. He spent years defending himself, but with no concrete evidence, the achievement remained in question. Despite Peary's claim gaining more acceptance, the debate over who truly reached the North Pole first has persisted for over a century. In recent years, new analyses of Cook's descriptions and reports have suggested that his accounts might, in fact, have been accurate. This enduring controversy highlights the difficulties in proving such achievements in the early days of exploration, when technological limitations made documentation and verification challenging. Significance and lessons learned: this controversy holds broader implications beyond the realm of polar exploration. It demonstrates how competition and the desire for recognition can drive individuals to questionable claims and intense rivalries. Cook and Peary's story reflects a universal truth. The drive for fame and acknowledgement can sometimes cloud judgment, leading people to bend or stretch the truth. This dynamic is still evident today, whether in sports, academia, or other fields where personal achievements are celebrated. The case also serves as a cautionary tale about the importance of evidence in validating claims, particularly when dealing with feats that are difficult to independently verify. Without reliable proof, even genuine accomplishments can be doubted or dismissed. Key takeaways on recognizing and avoiding fraudulent influences. These historical frauds serve as reminders to be wary of trusting too easily, especially in matters involving money and investments. Here's a guide on how to avoid falling victim. 1. Verify before trusting. Always research investment opportunities. If they promise high returns with minimal risk, they might be too good to be true. 2. Learn from history. Fraudulent schemes like Ponzi and pyramid schemes resurface often, sometimes with new names. Knowing the hallmarks of these scams can help you spot red flags. 3. Steer clear of influences that encourage risky behavior. Bad friends or influences can lead you into risky situations, either by convincing you to invest in dubious ventures or by pushing you to ignore warning signs. 4. Be wary of complex financial products. Fraudsters often hide details within complex structures. Avoid schemes you don't fully understand and seek trusted financial advice before committing. 5. Build strong financial literacy. Educating yourself on finances can help you make better decisions and spot inconsistencies or suspicious promises, keeping you one step ahead of potential scammers.